Hi everyone. Well, it just wouldn't be one of my reaction videos without some form of technical difficulties. um, throughout this episode, so I ended up talking a little bit too long at the end of this episode, so there will be a point where where the episode will cut, and then it will jump into, I will try to continue from where I got cut off, and then remember the things that I talked about afterwards. So basically, you'll see I was actually on vacation, so I was using, rather than this camera, and I was using my phone in order to record the actual episode, and my reaction, not the episode, my reaction, just my reaction, and my phone ran out of space. I was on vacation, I hadn't backed up my phone in a while, and that kind of sucks. But anyway, I'm going to get back into the episode, and at this point is where I'm going to cut. My intro will come in now, so boom. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Ricamus Reacts. My name is Ricamus, and it's a New Year miracle. Apparently Rooster Teeth decided to keep uploading videos through the break, which is awesome. It kind of sucks because the season's going to sort of feel shorter because it's going to end in early 2017, but I'm going to take a break, but still, it's really awesome. It's actually January 1st, so Happy New Year, everybody. I actually had this ready to do yesterday, but there's a lot going on, so we're doing it today. And obviously, I wasn't expecting this to happen, so I am in another place on vacation, but I have no RWBY stuff, so I'll just be wearing this polo instead. Anyway, very excited for this much-needed talk. That last episode was awesome, but finally we're going to be able to get some answers. And well, I mean, we know a lot of the information, but I feel like Crow will hopefully explain everything a little bit better to Team Ranger, and I think that yeah, it's just important information that they probably should have known from the beginning, because then Crow probably wouldn't have gotten poisoned. Hopefully he won't die. We'll have to see. Even if I don't know if he would die very quickly, but maybe they'll be able to, like I said before, manufacture an anti-venom or something. Anyway, I want to get to this reaction. It's going to start a little bit into the intro because I'm having trouble with the internet right now. I can't see what the play button is. Okay, let's go out of full screen and start. So Marius is here too. I don't think he wants to be in the video right now. He's very sleepy. We haven't seen Yang in a while. Maybe this much needed talk will also be Tai Yang talking to Yang about things. I don't know. We're well past the halfway point now, so we need to, I guess, start wrapping up. Or actually, I guess everything kind of escalated really in episode 9 last volume, so maybe there was going to be some more building, I don't know, with some of the other storylines. Maybe we'll see Weiss doing some training in secret and planning her escape. And yeah, I'm very curious where this is going to start up. It's falling good.
Questions. This is just a lot to take in.
Explain the maidens, I guess.
Sure, of course.
So these maidens, they're powerful fighters that don't need dust to use magic.
Yeah.
And there are 4 of them?
Yep. Always.
Which means that whenever one of them dies, the power transfers to someone, a female, that they care about?
Like a female,
Whoever's in their
like a
thoughts.
Slayer.
Important distinction. Best option is someone we can trust, regardless souls become combined, in a way. And that's what you were trying to do to Pyrrha. The night the tower fell. You were trying to turn her into one of them. The previous Fall Maiden, Amber, had been attacked. She was young and inexperienced. And her assailant, who we now know as Cinder, somehow managed to steal some of her power. But not all of it. We were afraid that if we didn't do something, the rest would go to her as well. So you forced it on Pyrrha? We didn't force anything. We explained the situation and gave her a choice, and she chose.
And consent all along the way. Doesn't help though.
That guy, Tyrion. Why was he after me?
Well, you definitely painted a target on your back with what you did at Beacon. I told you having silver eyes is a rare trait. And the fact that you're someone that was able to use them seems to have upset some very powerful people. Not many people know about the silver eyes, but those that do aren't very happy when it surfaced. That's why I've been keeping an eye on you. Wanted to make sure you were safe.
Why wouldn't you say everything
All
ahead of time?
you.
Well, then, why not just travel with us? It seems like that would have been way easier.
He was using you as bait. Look, I wouldn't put it like that. It's complicated. What is all of this? Ruby's being hunted. The schools are being attacked. All for what? What is the point of all of this? Will you just tell us what's going on? Would you sit down? You're stressing me out, kid. Not many people are super religious these days. This world's been around for a long time. Long enough that people have created dozens of gods. But if you believe Osmond, 2 of them are actually real. They were brothers. The older sibling, the god of light, found joy in creating forces of life. Meanwhile, the younger brother, the god of darkness, spent his time creating forces of destruction. As you can imagine, they both had pretty different ideas about how things should go. The older one would spend his days creating water, plants, wildlife. At night, his brother would wake to see all the things that the elder had made and become disgusted. To counteract his brother's creations, the god of darkness brought drought, fire, famine, all that he could do to rid Remnant of life.
Fun creation myth.
Life always returned. So one night, the younger brother went and made something. Something that shared his innate desire to destroy anything and everything.
The Grim.
The creatures of Rim.
You guessed it. The older brother had finally had enough. Knowing that their feud couldn't last like this forever, he proposed that they make one final creation. Together. Something they could both be proud of. Their masterpiece. Younger brother agreed.
Did they create dust?
This last great creation would be given the power to both create and destroy.
Oh.
It would be given the gift of knowledge so that it could learn about itself and the world around it. And most importantly, it would be given the power to choose. To have free will to take everything it
humanity.
learned and decide which path to follow.
Sorry.
The path of light
Shush.
or the path of darkness. And that is how humanity came to be.
My thought was.
What does that have to do with us?
Well,
I thought Grim was younger than
see,
humanity.
before gifts to mankind, knowledge, creation, destruction, and choice aren't just metaphorical. Each of them exists in a physical form, left behind by the gods before they abandon Remnant. Each of them is extraordinarily someone were to collect all four, they'd be able to change the world.
It's the Triforce.
That's exactly what the enemy wants. The Huntsman Academies were created to train generations of humanity's protectors, but they also serve another purpose: guarding the relics. When Ozpin's predecessor founded the schools, he built them around the relics to act as a fortress. Not only would they be easier to defend, but they would be constantly surrounded by trained warriors. The hope was that hiding the relics would keep mankind from using them against itself. And of course, keeping them out of her reach. So, yeah, there's that.
Her. You mean Salem?
That's right. Not much is known about her. Quite frankly, that's not what matters. What matters right now is that she wants the relics. If she gets them, it's not going to end well.
No. Menagerie.
No. You can always go in and say hi.
I don't want to bother him.
A father's never too busy for his daughter.
Not all of my friends would agree with you on that.
Here.
What? Where are you going?
You've never been very talkative, but that boy you brought home loves to run his mouth. I want to hear more about the adventures of Team RWBY.
Holly, can I give you?
Hey, Dad.
Blake. Well, this is a pleasant surprise.
Michigan through.
Please, come sit. Don't worry, I've got it. Sit down. Sit down.
I don't want to keep you if you're...
Nonsense. I've been cooped up in here all day. You still take sugar, right?
Oh, actually,
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Oh, here, take this one.
No, really, it's no big deal.
You sure?
Positive.
Old habits, I suppose. Might want to let it cool.
Right.
Awkward.
So, is it warm in Vale?
Huh?
It just seems like your outfit doesn't cover very much.
It covers plenty.
I mean, a little more armor might help, don't you think?
What about you?
I'm fine.
Got an
I
exposed
don't
chest.
need armor. I can look after myself.
I know you can. I'm sorry.
Why?
Hmm?
Why would you say that?
Sweetheart, what's wrong? What did I say?
How can you still love me after what I did?
Blake. Your mother and I will always love you.
You were right. I shouted at you and yelled at you, but you were right. I called you cowards.
It's okay.
I should have left the White Fang with you and Mom. I should have listened to you, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Blake, it's fine. We never held anything against you, and I never feared you would fail. The only thing I ever feared was that you would fall down the wrong path. And I am so proud to see you haven't.
But I did. It was...
And you pulled yourself out. You came back. There aren't many who possess that kind of strength, and even fewer that have the courage to face their demons again. Vale, Mountain Glen, Beacon. You confronted the White Fang time after time.
I didn't do it alone.
No, you didn't. Which is why I wanted to ask you. Why did you leave Vale? Why did you leave your friends behind?
Son?
Oh, whoa! This isn't the bathroom! I'll just be going. Sorry to interrupt this tender family moment.
I really don't like you.
Alright. So let's say we believe all of this. There really is this crazy evil being behind these attacks, not just some thugs trying to become powerful. Why doesn't the world know? Why isn't Atlas going after them, or Mistral?
And why aren't we in more of a hurry to get to Haven? Shouldn't we be getting them a message? What if they're next?
The headmaster over there saw what happened to Beacon. He's not dumb. He'll be on his guard. Besides, it takes time to mobilize forces like that. Do you really think they planned out that attack on Beacon overnight? And to answer your question,
Plus long-term
it's the
communication.
same reason we keep
long-distance
quiet about
communication.
the Maidens. If the whole world knew about the relics, about Salem, it would be chaos. We'd have another great war on our hands, and this time, you'd have to fight. Look, I had the same questions too. But old Ozpen always put his foot down. We can't cause a panic. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Salem's smart. She works from the shadows, using others to get what she wants. So that when it comes time to place the blame, we can only point at each other. She's trying to divide us, humanity. So far, she's done a pretty damn good job.
All right. So what should we do?
I don't really know. Ozpen has put a lot of trust in the headmasters. Like I said, the schools are an important part of stopping Salem. Atlas is going to be on high alert after the last attack, and Vacuo is, well, Vacuo. It'll be hard to hire thieves and scoundrels to fight against other thieves and scoundrels. Take that. Add in the fact that Cinder and her crew claim to be from Haven. And I think it's likely the next target. So, we're on our way to the headmaster. Haven't heard from him in a while, even before the attack. I'm hoping he has the answers. All right, I think it's time you kids got some sleep.
Uncle Crow,
Yeah?
this is a lot to take in. And it all sounds crazy, but I'm willing to do whatever I can to help. Because I trust you. But why couldn't you trust me? Why couldn't you just travel with us instead of all of this secrecy and...
Look, this has nothing to do with trust. It's a long story, okay?
Seriously?
More to it.
Now you're tired of telling us stories?
But you know the crows are a sign of bad luck. Old superstition. But it's how I got my name. You see, some people can absorb electricity, and some people can burst into rose petals. And some people are just born unlucky. My semblance isn't like most. It's not exactly something I do. It's always there, whether I like it or not. I bring misfortune.
He's just
Guess you could
unlucky.
call me a bad luck charm. Comes in real handy when I'm fighting an enemy. But it makes it a little hard on friends and family.
Really? He's just a jinx?
Well, you are just a real bundle of help, aren't you?
Yeah.
So is the turning into a crow thing a different thing?
Where are you going?
Maybe it's...
Taking a walk.
Maybe it is part of the tribe.
There's nothing else you want to tell us?
Raven.
Not tonight.
Ugh. No concept of privacy, no respect for personal space.
I'm sorry, okay? Ow! I'm sorry!
Ugh.
Look, I promise it was important. I needed to find you to talk to you.
What, son? What could be so important?
I was talking to your mom and she said something weird about the White Fang.
I'm stopping you right there.
But
I told you. I'm not here to fight the White Fang. I'm not here to fight anyone. I'm here to rest, to figure things out, and to see my family.
your mom said White Fang members don't wear masks in Menagerie. But I saw one at the market yesterday. I even got a picture.
Son.
Look, I'm trying to help.
I don't want your help.
A freaking ninja?
A spy.
But why would... Hey, wait!
Oh no, are they gonna draw her
The
out?
White Fang is evil. I totally called it, and I'm bringing your daughter back.
Oh no.
We should probably get moving.
Yeah.
Trail's getting worse. Shit.
Well, that's unfortunate.
No. I'm assuming he didn't just die. I'm assuming he passed out or collapsed or something. Sure. That's interesting that they didn't even think that he would be poisoned. Crap. Man, they're just really not doing anything with Yang. So that was an interesting episode. I thought it's interesting because we definitely got a lot of information, and I was following that story a little bit wrong at first, not thinking it was a creation myth about humanity, but about basically based on some of the earlier stuff. I thought that the creatures of Grimm were younger than man, based on one of the World of Remnants, the one they were talking about, Faunus. Because it was the humans and the Faunus banding together against the creatures of Grimm, but maybe it was just eventually when they did come together and they formed societies that could fight against. Anyway, so that was interesting. A lot of these things actually reminded me of Legend of Zelda. In fact, specifically Ocarina of Time, because I mean, the Triforce in general is Legend of Zelda, but Ocarina of Time specifically because of the art style kind of reminded me of it. Well, actually, it just reminded me of like a Zelda prequel, or not prequel, but intro in general, or any kind of video game intro or something like that. But I really liked the art style, the sort of shadow puppets aspect of it. It was a cool creation myth. I was hoping. It's interesting. I was hoping that we'd get a little more information about Salem, but apparently they don't. They either don't know much about Salem, or they're still keeping information back, which I'm pretty sure they I thought we were hopefully going to get something about Summer. I thought maybe I keep on mentioning this. I feel like Summer is tied in with Salem. Either was killed by Salem or is sort of like it's, you know, the possession cycle of the wizard and of the maidens, the power kind of taking over. I'm wondering if that happened with Summer and Salem. Don't know. We need more information, and we're not getting the information that we need. So that's unfortunate. But still, it's really cool just having them air it all out. I'm glad RWBY said, "Why didn't you just say this from the beginning?" And like something more that would have been nice, it would be heard to even say like, I mean, maybe and just be like, we could have done more. You know, we could have made more out of this. But clearly, he's kind of making this up as he goes along. He wasn't the leader of this group, and he's just trying to sort of pick up the pieces and do his best. And even like lays out that this is all the information why I think Haven is where they're going, but there wasn't really much to go on. So I mean, he happens to be right since we know that the Haven is going to be next. But yeah, that's interesting. It's so just to sort of finish up, continue talking about this scene, and then we'll jump to Blake stuff in a little bit. Not much to really say about Ren and Nora. They were just kind of there to ask questions. In that case, Jean was obviously really impacted by all this, and yeah, he's while Crow is right about the whole she consented, and they made it very clear that she was consenting to everything along the process. I feel like maybe I mean he feels like maybe she didn't fully grasp it, or I mean she just got thrown into the middle of all of this. I mean it's true, she got thrown into the middle of everything and it got her killed. When they chose her because she was great and she was such a good person and a great fighter and all of that. And it ultimately got her killed when, you know, she was chosen by them. Like she wasn't even just chosen by the process itself. So it was very forced. Yeah, so Jean, it's understandable why he's upset, and Crow obviously doesn't have any kind of bedside manner with him, but he was pretty harsh about it. But at least they got the information out, so that was good. Yeah, it was interesting to see. I'm pretty sure interesting about his semblance, about him being unlucky. That's not what I was expecting. I thought that it was him turning into a crow and Raven turning into a raven, or is that a crow? They look about the same size. I've never seen them birds together, so I don't know if they both turn into the same animal, or if one's a crow, one's a raven, because ravens are bigger, I believe. So I think that, and it was interesting that she showed up at the end. I'm pretty sure it was her, because the raven had red eyes, but interesting that she showed up. It was kind of like a pointed thing. So if his semblance is misfortune, it would make sense why he's always so distant, why he's always away from everybody. But two, it would. That whole thing would make sense, and why he's keeping everybody distant, why he drinks. So really unhappy about that. I hope that his misfortune isn't what ended up killing Summer, if she isn't related to this whole Salem plot. And I can imagine it being kind of amusing, him being on a team with everybody and just like misfortune following them, him kind of just being a bit of a jinx. It's interesting, yeah, so the transforming aspect, so since it's not his semblance, maybe it, like people have mentioned, maybe it's tied into some kind of, it's weird because it's like it's a type of magic, but it doesn't seem like it would be dust related. but it seems separate from the maidens and the wizard and all of that kind of stuff. So what other kind of magic is there in this world? Or maybe they are sort of like a hybrid between humans and faunus, and they can shape change. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, it's confusing because it does seem like it's a semblance, but people don't usually have two semblances, and so that's a little confusing. So I don't know. Anyway, getting on to what's going on with Blake. So this was more of just an. This was a great scene. I loved seeing her nervous to talk to her father. You don't know why she wants to talk to her, why she's nervous about talking to her father. Obviously, he's a very looming presence, but he loves her, and both her parents love her very much, and have been supportive. And so she goes in and really and just says it. She's embarrassed. She feels guilty. She feels terrible. She was a child and she didn't know any better. She called them cowards. Said they weren't. They were afraid to do what was necessary, and she didn't understand why what she was going to do was wrong. It's something that it's really strong in families. Unconditional love, and you acknowledge their mistakes, but really, and you do your best to point them in the right direction. But then always, I'm not a father. I have a dog, who's my little fur baby. He's just napping here, but it's not like having children, and I know that. I'm not saying that I have any idea what that experience is like yet, but there is something about always, you're wishing for the best for your children, and trying to guide them in the right direction, and just trying to find that balance of telling them what to do, but without forcing them. Knowing this, talking to my parents and from other parents that I've spoken to, my wife's parents as well. So it's a sticky kind of. It's a balance. It's a tough situation, and it was just really nice to see how he talked to her, and he was supportive, and I always knew you'd find your way, and it's great to see parents like that, and. So I'd always knew you find your way, and forgiving her for her misgivings because she recognized them and she's corrected them. Okay, so I was just talking about how it's very refreshing to see Blake's parents, her father, being forgiving and understanding and just showing support for Blake. Her, forgiving her transgressions, knowing that she was going to find her way eventually, and then being proud of her for really just pushing through that, continuing to fight after, even though she was embarrassed about and ashamed about the things that she's done, really pushing, really appreciating how she has done so much to undo those wrongs that she has done. She has fought against White Fang on multiple occasions. She's befriended somebody who is an enemy in Weiss, and she's become much more open with everybody. And I think it's really helped being on Team RWBY. They're great parents, especially in this show where there are a lot of not so great parents, i.e. Jacques and Raven. You get to see them being so loving and supportive, so that's great. Now, something else that I talked about that ended up getting cut off was something that I've been wondering was about. I'd heard people talk about this before. Apparently, this was a theory early on, where with Sun being potentially being an enemy, and that he's sort of like he's helping them, but only to help himself. And really, I don't know if his actions necessarily support that, but basically the reason why I'm wondering about this is because over the winter break with my father-in-law, I watched a version of The Journey to the West, and I'd never actually watched it before. It was this 2013 Chinese movie that came out, and it was a goofy movie. It was very some of the effects were a little bit weird and all that. And I know The Journey to the West is an older story. It's one of the the major works of literature in Chinese history. So I don't know how the original story kind of ties into the movie that we watched, but I am aware that the Monkey King Sun Wukong becomes a traveling companion of the hero, which I cannot remember his name. I should have looked it up again. Who is journeying to the west to India in order to receive the sutras and become a monk. In the movie, it's basically everything leading up to the point where he leaves with his traveling companions, who are his guardians, one of them being Sun Wukong. But in this movie, the way it works is so he journeys. He's a demon hunter. He's trying to defeat demons in his own way, using this book of fairy tales, which so rather than destroying them, he is trying to convert them back to make them good rather than evil, rather than just destroy the evil, that whole thing. So he's fighting this pig demon, and he ends up having to travel to find where the Buddha has sealed away the Monkey King Sun Wukong, and get his help. And so he helps him reluctantly, and kind of biding his time, helping him to be prepared to defeat this pig demon, and ultimately, after that has all happened, he tricks the hero into freeing him from his imprisonment, and he becomes the ultimate boss that a bunch of demon hunters have to fight. He ends up killing all of them, and then he's the monk that we're following, or the potential monk, the demon hunter that we're following, converts him back to good, or he defeats him in a different way using the Book of Fairy Tales, using the Buddha Sutras, and then he becomes his one of his guardians on his journey to the West. So basically, my question is Sun Wukong in RWBY just like a name reference, and that's why he has the staff, and why he's a monkey and all that kind of stuff, and he's a bit of a prankster. He not 100% a prankster, but like he seems to like joke around a lot, and in the original story he is a trickster. So is he a really deep cover double agent kind of thing for the White Fang or another faction, and he's just trying to get close to Blake and potentially her father because he's the leader of Menagerie and of the White Fang, or is he and he's going, so basically he would then turn on them at the end of this volume and continue to be a villain in the future, and then he would switch back, following that arc of him being evil and then coming back to the good side, or is he just a namesake? That's all. I wasted a lot of time on this in the original video, in the original recording that got cut off, and apparently I'm wasting a lot of time on that now. So I'm just asking about that because I know that is a theory that was out there before, and I want to make sure that I haven't like fully read into what everybody's saying, and I don't know the full story. I just, based on this one movie that I saw, I thought about it. So yeah. Other things that I mentioned, I think I did come back to the Crow stuff briefly. One thing that I've been wanting to talk about is, one thing I've been wanting to talk about was the fact that, so Crow's semblance being misfortune, is interesting. And one thing that I was going to mention earlier, and I noticed that I forgot to say it, was that he, I think is why he. I mean, it makes sense. That's why he wanted RWBY to stay away when they were fighting, and lo and behold, a piece of the building starts to fall on her because misfortune follows him. So he knows that that's going to potentially hurt her, and so he saves her because of that, and that's how everything progresses. He gets stung and everything. So that kind of I just wanted to mention that because it makes everything make sense. You probably have all picked up on that too. I just wanted to mention that. Excuse me. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the fact that I'm wondering if, because Crow and Raven are twins, their semblances are sort of tied together. So, at least their passive semblances. I don't know what's going on with the fact that they can also transform, if they're some kind of faunus or hybrid, or if it's some kind of magic, whatever. I'm wondering if they both have passive traits. One of them being misfortune, the other one being foresight. I feel like that was a theory already, that Raven has foresight, which is why she was able to save Yang's life. All she has to do is basically travel through a portal and be there at the right time because she foresaw this. And I wonder if these semblances would be complementary, because the misfortune would follow Crow and she would be able to foresee the misfortune coming, and so she would be safe, and basically they would be a good team, and they would be good on a team together. And I wonder if the reason that he left the team was because potentially Raven left the team and nobody could foresee his misfortune coming anymore. And I mean, I mentioned earlier in the video, this could have been one of the reasons that he could have been the reason that Summer died if she isn't tied into Salem. He could have just been like, there are babies around, I cannot be around these babies because something terrible could happen. And yeah, that's why he drinks. So interesting stuff. Like I said, I hope that he doesn't die soon. I hope that, there's that, he did their whole trope of, we'll talk about this later. And usually when that happens in a movie or TV show, the person either dies or something happens. It's the whole, I'll tell you about your mother when I return, when we meet again, like that in Game of Thrones, sorry. So spoiler for Game of Thrones, that conversation never happens. Yeah, so I let me think. I think that's everything. I'm really hoping that before Crow dies, or if he dies, I hope he does not die. I love Crow as a character. Oh, and one thing I did mention again was the fact that I really don't want Crow to die, because I want him to be around longer, so that it's not so that I have more time to prepare my cosplay for him. Because I really want to cosplay as Crow. I still need to build the scythe, but I have everything else, and I'm going to cosplay as Crow in a kilt, because I have a kilt. It basically looks like the Beacon colors. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully I can get that together by the next Comic-Con I go to, which will probably be PhillyCon. I might be going to Dragon Con in the summer. I may be going. I'm usually at New York Comic Con. I don't know if I'll go this year. So we'll see how that all goes. Maybe I'll make it down to San Diego this year. That'll be great. And I'd love to go to RTX sometime, but we'll have to see where it falls. I don't have that much disposable income. Okay, so let me think. Was there anything else that I wanted to say? I think I just kind of lost my train of thought when I decided to talk about cosplay. Alright, well, this video is going to end up being up a little bit later, since I'm actually recording the day that... Now I am recording this extra part the day that I am posting it. So it'll definitely be up later in the day. I'm doing the reaction for Volume 4, Episode 9, Chapter 9 today as well. And yeah, I'm seeing that Yang is in the thumbnail for that, so I'm excited to see what that has in store. Yeah, so I'm gonna get into that, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to follow me on the RWBY Amino app. I am Ricamus there as well. I'm also Ricamus on the Rooster Teeth page. And I think that's all. Please, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.